A chilling thread lit up Sophie Carter's phone in the dead of Chicago's night, warning her to stop digging into Horizon Innovation's secrets, or her baby Mia would pay. A single mom, Sophie had stumbled into a corporate conspiracy by a misdialed text, exposing a ruthless CFO's millions in theft. Why would a powerful elite target a nobody like her? This wasn't just a job, it was a fight for survival. Dive into her battle for justice. Like, share, and subscribe to uncover the twists in this gripping tale. The Chicago night pressed against the cracked window of Sophie Carter's cramped apartment, neon lights from the street below casting jagged shadows across the peeling wallpaper. At 28, Sophie was a single mother fighting to keep her head above water, her dreams of a stable accounting career buried under the weight of unpaid bills and a dwindling bank account. She sat hunched on a sagging armchair, the fabric worn thin by years of use, her fingers trembling as she typed a desperate text on her cracked phone screen. "Ethan, I'm out of options. I need $50 from Mia's formula. I'll pay you back Friday, I swear." She hit send, the shame burning hotter than the hunger gnawing at her. With only $187 in her account and the last scoop of Nurtury's formula stretched thin for her 8-month-old daughter, pride was a luxury she couldn't afford. The baby monitor hummed with Mia's soft breaths, each one a reminder of why Sophie swallowed her dignity to beg her brother for help. She leaned back, eyes stinging, and whispered to the empty room, "Just hold on, Mia. We'll make it." Across town, in the gleaming tower of Horizon Innovations, Nathan Brooks sat alone in his corner office, the city skyline sprawling beneath him like a map of his ambitions. At 45, the CEO was a man of precision and power, but tonight, exhaustion clung to him like a shadow. His phone buzzed, a rare intrusion on his personal line, reserved for a handful of trusted contacts. Expecting a late-night update on the company's looming merger, he frowned at the unfamiliar number. The message wasn't meant for him, a raw, desperate plea from someone named Sophie. His thumb hovered over the delete button, but the mention of a baby stopped him cold. Memories of his sister Ellie, lost to a heart condition a decade ago, flickered in his mind. He typed before he could second-guess himself, "I think you meant this for someone else. I'm not Ethan." In her apartment, Sophie's heart sank as her phone lit up with the reply. She checked the number, her stomach twisting. She'd mistyped Ethan's new digits by 1. "Oh God," she muttered, mortified. "I'm so sorry," she typed back, her fingers fumbling. "Please forget you saw that. Wrong number." She tossed the phone onto the cushion, burying her face in her hands. Another failure in a life full of them. But Nathan didn't dismiss it. The raw vulnerability in her words, the mention of a hungry child, tugged at something he buried since Ellie's death. He typed again, surprising himself. "Is your baby okay? Do you need help?" Sophie stared at the message, her breath catching. A stranger caring about her daughter? Suspicion flared. She'd heard enough horror stories about scams and predators, but exhaustion dulled her caution. "We'll figure it out," she replied curtly. "Sorry for bothering you." Nathan leaned back in his leather chair, the city lights glinting like stars. He should let it go, but the weight of his own regrets pushed him forward. "I'm Nathan," he wrote, "not a stranger anymore. What kind of formula does your baby need?" Sophie's eyes narrowed, her thumb hovering over the block button. "Why would you care?" she typed, her voice sharp even in text. "I don't know you." Nathan's gaze drifted to a framed photo on his desk. Ellie, smiling, before the illness stole her. "I lost someone once," he replied. "Couldn't help her. Maybe I can help you. No strings." Sophie's heart thudded. She didn't trust easily, not after Mia's father walked out, leaving her to face motherhood alone. But the empty formula tin on the counter loomed like a verdict. "Nurturies," she typed, her voice softer now. "For sensitive stomachs, it's expensive." Minutes later, her phone pinged with a Venmo notification. She gasped, 500, not 50. This is way too much, she typed frantically. I can't take this. Nathan's reply was calm, steady. It's for Mia. For the next few months, keep her fed. Tears welled in Sophie's eyes, blurring the screen. She hadn't cried when she lost her job at the accounting firm, nor when Ethan moved across the country for work, leaving her without a safety net. But this act of kindness from a stranger broke through her defenses. Thank you, she typed, her voice breaking in the silence. I don't know what to say. Just take care of Mia, Nathan wrote back. That's enough. Sophie set the phone down, relief flooding her, but as she glanced at Mia's crib, a chill ran through her. She hadn't mentioned her daughter's name. How did he know it? Her fingers tightened around the phone, suspicion creeping back. Was this a mistake or something more? Across town, Nathan stared at his screen, the weight of his impulsiveness settling in. He didn't know why he'd gone so far, but something about Sophie's desperation felt like a chance to redeem a piece of his past. He closed his laptop, the merger documents untouched, and whispered to the empty office, Ellie, I hope I did the right thing. The Chicago skyline glittered through the pre-dawn haze, its lights a stark contrast to the dim glow of Sophie's phone as she sat on her threadbare armchair clutching a cold cup of coffee. The $500 from the mysterious Nathan still felt like a dream, but the unease from him knowing Mia's name gnawed at her. She'd barely slept, torn between gratitude and suspicion, her mind racing with questions about his intentions. Was he a good Samaritan, or was this some elaborate trap? The baby monitor crackled with Mia's soft coos, grounding her. She needed answers, and she needed them now. Her phone buzzed with a new message from Nathan, its words catching her off guard. Good morning, Sophie. I owe you an explanation about last night. I run Horizon Innovations and could use someone with your accounting skills for a short-term project. Interested? Sophie's breath hitched. A job offer from a stranger? It sounded too good to be true, especially after months of rejected resumes. She typed cautiously, How do you know I'm an accountant, and how do you know my brother Ethan? Across town, Nathan leaned against his office window, the city waking below. He'd spent the night digging into Horizon's HR records, connecting the dots between Sophie's number and Ethan Carter, a junior HR manager. The coincidence was uncanny, but it felt like fate. I checked with my HR team, he replied. Your number's one digit off Ethan's. He mentioned you're looking for work and have a knack for numbers. No investigation, just a lucky break. Sophie's fingers tightened around her phone, her suspicion warring with hope. So you just happened to need an accountant the day I text you by mistake, she typed, her voice sharp even through text. Nathan's reply was quick. Fair question. My company's prepping for a merger, and we need a fresh set of eyes on our books. Ethan vouched for your skills. Can you come in tomorrow, 9 a.m.? Sophie hesitated, glancing at Mia, now awake and reaching for her from the crib. The rent was due in days, and her savings were a memory. She couldn't afford to dismiss this, but she needed assurances. I'd need flexible hours, she typed. I've got Mia to look after. Nathan's response was immediate. We have an on-site daycare and you can set your schedule. Bring Mia tomorrow. We'll work it out. Sophie set the phone down, her mind a tangle of doubt and possibility. She called Ethan, her voice low to avoid waking Mia fully. Your boss, Nathan Brooks, offered me a job. Says you vouched for me. What's his deal? Ethan's voice was groggy but earnest. Sophie, I mentioned you to him months ago when he asked about top talent. He's intense but fair. When he heard about your text, he put two and two together. This is real, sis. Take the shot. Sophie paced the small apartment, the floor creaking under her steps. You sure he's not playing me? This feels too convenient. Ethan chuckled. Nathan's not the scheming type. He's got a heart, even if he hides it. You need this, and he needs you. Just go to the interview. She hung up, still uneasy, but swayed by Ethan's confidence. The next morning, she dressed in her only blazer, a thrifted piece that still held its shape, and packed Mia's diaper bag with trembling hands. The Horizon Innovations Tower loomed like a fortress of glass, its sleek exterior intimidating as she pushed through the revolving doors, Mia snug in her carrier. A security guard greeted her before she could speak. "Miss Carter, Miss Hayes is waiting by the elevators." Lila Hayes, Nathan's assistant, met her with a warm but sharp-eyed smile. "You must be Sophie," she said, her voice smooth. "Nathan's expecting you upstairs. Let's get you settled." The elevator ride was silent, Sophie's nerves buzzing as Lila led her to a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows. The space was warm, not sterile. Bookshelves lined with novels, a photo of a young woman on the desk, and a guitar leaning in the corner. Lila gestured to a plush couch. "Make yourself comfortable. Nathan's ragging up a call." Sophie adjusted Mia's carrier, her voice low. "This place is a lot. Is he always this hands-on with new hires?" Lila's eyes twinkled knowingly. "Only when he sees something special. He's got a knack for spotting talent, or trouble. You're the former, I hope." Sophie managed a small smile. "I'm just here to keep my kid fed." Lila nodded, her expression softening. "That's a good enough reason. He'll be here soon." Alone with Mia, Sophie studied the office, her unease growing. The photo on the desk, likely Nathan's sister, stirred something in her. Why was he doing this? Before she could dwell, Nathan entered, his presence commanding but not cold. His suit was impeccable, but faint shadows under his eyes hinted at sleepless nights. "Sophie," he said, extending a hand. "Thanks for coming." She shook it, her grip firm despite her nerves. "I'm still not sure why I'm here, Nathan. A job offer from a wrong number. It's a lot to swallow." He sat across from her, his gaze steady. "I get it. You're cautious, and you should be. But I meant what I said last night. I lost someone close, and your message hit me at the right moment. Or the wrong one, depending on how you see it. Ethan's been singing your praises for months. When I realized who you were, I saw a chance to help, and maybe solve a problem of my own." Sophie's eyes narrowed. "What kind of problem?" Nathan leaned forward, his voice low. "My company's books aren't adding up. Small discrepancies, but they're there. I need someone I can trust, someone outside the usual circles. You're that person." Sophie glanced at Mia, her heart pounding. "And if I say no?" Nathan's expression didn't waver. "You walk away, no hard feelings. The 500 is still yours. But I think you want this as much as I need it." She studied him, searching for deceit, but finding only sincerity, or a damn good act. "I'll hear you out," she said finally, "but I'm not promising anything." Nathan nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "That's all I ask. Let's talk details." As they spoke, Sophie felt the first stirrings of hope, but a shadow lingered. This was no ordinary job offer, and Nathan Brooks was no ordinary man. She was stepping into something bigger, and she wasn't sure she was ready. The morning sun sliced through the Chicago skyline, bathing the Horizon Innovations Tower in a golden glow as Sophie adjusted Mia's carrier in the private office suite she now called her workspace. 3 weeks into her contract, the rhythm of corporate life felt both alien and anchoring. The small conference room, outfitted with a portable crib and a scattering of colorful toys, was a sanctuary where she balanced motherhood and meticulous accounting. The financial records she pored over for the merger were a labyrinth of numbers, but her sharp eye had already caught subtle irregularities, discrepancies too precise to be errors. Her discovery of these financial threads, woven into the company's books like a hidden seam, stirred a mix of excitement and dread. Mia babbled from her playmat, oblivious to the storm brewing in her mother's mind. Sophie leaned back, murmuring to herself, "Someone's covering their tracks, but who?" The stakes were higher now, and she sensed she was treading on dangerous ground. Lila Hayes knocked softly, her presence a quiet reassurance. "How's it going in here?" she asked, setting a coffee mug on the desk. Her eyes flicked to the spreadsheets on Sophie's dual monitors, sharp with curiosity. Slowly, Sophie admitted, rubbing her temple. These numbers don't add up. Small transfers, barely noticeable, but they're consistent. It's like someone's siphoning money, bit by bit. Lila's expression darkened, her voice dropping. You're sure it's not just sloppy bookkeeping? Sophie shook her head, pulling up a chart. Look at this. Over the last year, these micro-transfers total nearly 2 million. They're routed through shell accounts, then vanish. This is deliberate. Lila crossed her arms, glancing at Mia. You've got a knack for finding trouble. Have you told Nathan yet? Not yet, Sophie said, her voice tight. I need more proof before I bring it to him, but this feels personal. Lila nodded, her tone firm. Keep it quiet for now. Not everyone here's on our side. I'll make sure Nathan knows to check in soon. As Lila left, Sophie's unease grew. She'd come to trust Nathan's intentions, but the scale of this fraud suggested someone high up was involved. She saved her files to a secure drive, her fingers lingering on the keyboard. Mia's giggle broke her focus, and she smiled, scooping her daughter up. You're my anchor, kiddo, she whispered, kissing Mia's forehead. But the moment of warmth was fleeting. A new email pinged, unmarked, with a single line. Stop digging or Mia pays. Sophie's blood ran cold, her grip tightening on her daughter. She scanned the room, half expecting eyes in the shadows, then forwarded the email to Nathan with a terse note. We need to talk, now. Nathan was in a board meeting across town, but his reply came swiftly. Stay put, I'm back in an hour. Don't share that email with anyone. Sophie paced, her mind racing. The threat wasn't just about her job, it was about her child. She called Ethan, her voice low. Someone's threatening Mia over what I found in the books. Did you tell anyone I was working on this? Ethan's voice was sharp with worry. No one, Sophie, I swear. What's going on? You okay? I don't know, she admitted, glancing at Mia. Just keep this between us. I'll handle it. Hang tight, Ethan said. Nathan's got your back. He's not the type to let this slide. Sophie hung up, her resolve hardening. She wasn't running. Not now, not ever. She dove back into the records, cross-referencing transactions with renewed urgency. By noon, she'd traced the shell accounts to a name. Victor Langston, Horizon CFO. The revelation hit like a punch. Victor, with his polished suits and cold smiles, was the architect of this scheme. She screenshot the evidence, her heart pounding as she heard footsteps approaching. Victor himself appeared in the doorway, his presence filling the room like a storm cloud. Working hard, Miss Carter? He asked, his voice smooth but laced with menace. He leaned against the frame, his eyes flicking to Mia's crib. Sophie minimized her screen, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. Just doing my job, Mr. Langston, checking the books for the merger. He stepped closer, his smile not reaching his eyes. You're thorough, I'll give you that. Found anything interesting? She met his gaze, refusing to flinch. Enough to know someone's been very creative with the numbers. Victor's smile faltered, his tone sharpening. Careful, Sophie. Curiosity can be dangerous, especially for someone in your situation. Is that a threat? She asked, her voice low but fierce. Because I don't scare easily. He chuckled, a hollow sound. Just advice. You've got a lot to lose. He glanced at Mia, then left, his footsteps echoing down the hall. Sophie exhaled, her hands shaking as she clutched the desk. She texted Nathan again. Victor just came by. He knows I'm on to him. Nathan's reply was immediate. I'm 5 minutes out. Lock the door until I get there. She did, her eyes darting to Mia, now napping peacefully. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. When Nathan arrived, his face was taut with urgency. He closed the door, his voice low. Show me what you found. Sophie opened the files, her fingers steady now. Victor's been funneling money through fake accounts. It's him, Nathan, and he sent this. She showed him the threatening email, her voice cracking. He mentioned Mia. Nathan's jaw clenched, his eyes blazing. He's gone too far. I've suspected him for months, but this is the proof we needed. Why didn't you tell me? Sophie demanded, her voice rising. You knew he was dangerous and let me walk into this. Nathan met her gaze, his voice raw. I didn't know it was this bad. I thought you'd find accounting errors, not a criminal. I'm sorry, Sophie, but we're in this together now. She took a shaky breath, nodding. What's the plan? We take this to the FBI, he said. I've got a contact, Agent Torres, but we need to move fast. Victor's not working alone. Sophie glanced at Mia, her resolve steeling. I'm not letting him win, not after this. Nathan placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch grounding. You won't have to. We'll protect Mia, and we'll bring him down. As they strategized, Sophie felt a shift, not just fear, but purpose. She'd stumbled into this fight, but she wouldn't back down. The numbers were her weapon, and Victor had underestimated her. Outside, the city hummed, unaware of the battle brewing within Horizon's walls. The Chicago wind howled outside the Horizon Innovations Tower, rattling the windows of Sophie's makeshift office as she hunched over her laptop, the glow of the screen casting shadows across her tense face. Mia slept fitfully in her crib, a soft contrast to the storm brewing within Sophie. The threatening email about Mia and Victor Langston's thinly veiled warning had ignited a fire in her. She wasn't just fighting for a job now, but for her daughter's safety. The evidence she'd uncovered, a trail of millions siphoned through Victor's shell companies, was a ticking bomb. Nathan's promise of FBI involvement offered hope, but the weight of being a target pressed heavily on her. She saved her latest findings, a new link to an offshore account tied to Victor, and locked the door, her pulse racing as she awaited Nathan's next move. The quiet of the office felt deceptive, like the hush before a predator strikes. Lila Hayes slipped in, her usual composure frayed, a burner phone in hand. Nathan's stuck in a last-minute board call, she said, her voice low. He sent me to check on you. You holding up? Sophie glanced at Mia, her voice tight. Barely. Victor's not just stealing. He's dangerous. I found another account, Lila. It's bigger than we thought. 4 million, funneled to a Cayman Islands trust. Lila's eyes widened, her grip tightening on the phone. That's enough to make him desperate. You tell anyone else. No, Sophie said, shaking her head. Nathan said to wait for the FBI, but I got another email an hour ago. She pulled it up, the words chilling. Back off, or Mia's next nap won't be so peaceful. Lila cursed under her breath, her face hardening. This ends now. Nathan's meeting Agent Torres tonight. You need to get that evidence to her. Sophie's hands shook as she copied the files to a USB drive. What if Victor's watching? He knew I was digging before I even told Nathan. Lila's gaze was steely. He's got eyes in the company, no doubt. That's why we're moving you and Mia to a safe place after hours. Nathan's orders. Sophie nodded, her resolve firm, but her heart pounding. I'm not running. He doesn't get to scare me off. That's the spirit, Lila said, a faint smile breaking through. But you're not facing him alone. Let's get you ready. As Lila left to coordinate with security, Sophie's phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. She hesitated, then answered, her voice sharp. Who is this? Miss Carter, it's Agent Elena Torres, FBI Financial Crimes. A crisp voice replied. Nathan Brooks briefed me. I need your evidence tonight. Can you meet me at 8 p.m. downtown? Sophie's grip tightened, her eyes darting to Mia. Why not here? It's safer. Too many variables in that building, Torres said. Victor's got connections. We need neutral ground. Bring the drive and we'll protect you. Sophie swallowed hard. All right, but my daughter comes with me. Understood, Torres said. I'll text you the address. Stay sharp. The call ended, leaving Sophie reeling. She texted Nathan. Torres wants me downtown at 8. You know about this. His reply was immediate. Yes, I'll be there. Take Leela with you. Don't leave Mia. Sophie packed Mia's diaper bag, her movements mechanical but her mind racing. The idea of stepping into the open felt like walking into a trap, but she had no choice. Victor's threats were closing in. At 7 p.m., Leela returned, her face grim. Security's clear, but I saw Victor's car in the garage. He's still here. Sophie's stomach twisted. He's watching me, isn't he? Likely, Lila said, handing her a baseball cap. Put this on. We're taking the service elevator. My car's out back. They slipped through the tower's underbelly, the hum of machinery masking Mia's soft whimpers. In Lila's sedan, Sophie clutched the USB drive, her voice low. If anything happens to me, promise you'll get Mia to Ethan. Lila's eyes met hers in the rearview mirror. Nothing's happening to either of you. Nathan's got a plan. The meeting spot was a nondescript diner downtown, its neon sign flickering in the rain. Sophie scanned the room, spotting Torres in a corner booth, her dark suit blending with the shadows. Nathan was already there, his face taut with worry. Sophie slid into the booth, Mia's carrier beside her, and handed Torres the drive. This is everything, Sophie said, her voice steady despite her fear. Victor's been laundering money through offshore trusts, the trail's clear. Torres plugged the drive into her tablet, her eyes narrowing as she scrolled. This is solid. We've been after Langston for years, but he's slippery. You just gave us the rope to hang him. Nathan leaned forward, his voice urgent. What's the next step? He's already threatening Sophie's daughter. Torres's gaze flicked to Mia. We move fast. There's a board meeting tomorrow. Victor's planning to pin the fraud on you, Nathan. We'll let him think he's winning, then hit him with this. Sophie's eyes widened. You're using us as bait. Not bait, Torres said. Leverage. You'll be protected. We need him to lie on record. Nathan reached for Sophie's hand, his touch grounding. I won't let him near you or Mia. Trust me. Before Sophie could respond, the diner's door swung open and Victor himself strode in, flanked by 2 men in dark coats. Sophie's heart stopped as his eyes locked onto hers, a predator's smile curling his lips. Well, well, he said, his voice smooth as venom. Fancy meeting you here, Miss Carter. Nathan stood, his voice low but fierce. Get out, Victor. You're out of your depth. Victor laughed, his gaze flicking to Torres. And who's this? Your lawyer or something more official? Torres rose, her badge glinting under the diner's lights. FBI, step back, Langston, or you're leaving in cuffs. Victor's smile didn't waver, but his men tensed. No need for drama, he said, raising his hands. Just checking on my colleague. She's been working late, haven't you, Sophie? Sophie's voice was ice. Save it. I know what you're doing, and it's over. Victor's eyes narrowed, a flash of rage breaking through. You're playing a dangerous game, little girl. Think about your kid. Nathan stepped between them, his voice a growl. Threaten her again, and you won't walk out of here. The standoff held, the diner's patrons oblivious to the tension. Torres nodded to a man at the counter, an undercover agent, who moved closer. Victor smirked, backing off. See you at the board meeting, Nathan. Bring your best. As he left, Sophie exhaled, her hands trembling. He's not stopping, she said, her voice cracking. He's desperate, Torres replied, pocketing the drive. That's good for us. Go home, Sophie. We'll handle tomorrow. Lila drove them to a safe house, a modest apartment in a secure complex. Sophie settled Mia, her mind a whirlwind. How did he know we were there? She asked Lila, rocking Mia gently. Lila's face was grim. He's got someone inside. Nathan's checking security now. You're safe here. Sophie nodded, but sleep eluded her. She reviewed the files on her laptop, finding a new email buried in her spam folder. A photo of Mia sleeping in her crib at Horizon, time-stamped that morning. Her blood ran cold. Victor wasn't just threatening, he was watching. She forwarded it to Torres and Nathan, her resolve hardening. Tomorrow's board meeting wasn't just a chance for justice, it was her only shot to protect her daughter. The city's lights flickered outside, a silent witness to the battle ahead. The Chicago dawn broke gray and heavy, rain streaking the windows of the safe house where Sophie sat, cradling Mia in the dim light. The photo of her daughter sleeping in Horizon's crib, sent by Victor Langston, had seared itself into her mind, a silent vow that today's board meeting would be his reckoning. The USB drive, now with Agent Torres, held the evidence to dismantle Victor's empire of fraud, but the risk of confronting him loomed large. Sophie's fingers traced Mia's cheek, her resolve a steel thread through her fear. She wasn't just fighting for justice, she was fighting for her child's future. Lila Hayes brewed coffee in the kitchen, her calm presence a lifeline. "You ready for this?" Lila asked, sliding a mug across the counter. Sophie met her gaze, voice steady. "I have to be. Victor's not walking away from this." Lila nodded, her eyes sharp. "Torres has the room wired. You'll have backup. Nathan's already at Horizon, setting the stage." Sophie's phone buzzed with a text from Nathan. "You and Mia safe. Meet me at FBI office, 9 a.m. We'll go to Horizon together." She replied, "We're okay. I'll be there." Packing Mia's bag, she felt the weight of the day ahead, a mix of dread and determination. The safe house felt like a cocoon, but she couldn't hide forever. At the FBI's downtown office, Torres greeted her, her face all business. "Your evidence is airtight," she said, gesturing to a conference room where Nathan waited, his suit crisp but his eyes tired. "Victor's expecting to frame Nathan today. We'll let him start, then you walk in with the truth." Sophie adjusted Mia's carrier, her voice firm. "What if he tries something? He's already crossed lines." Nathan stepped closer, his tone resolute. "He won't touch you. I've got security on every floor, and Torres's team is ready." Torres handed Sophie a small earpiece. "Wear this. I'll guide you if things escalate. You just focus on presenting the facts." Sophie nodded, slipping the earpiece in. "Let's end this." The Horizon Innovations boardroom was a fortress of glass and steel, its long table ringed by executives in tailored suits. Sophie waited in an adjacent room, watching the meeting on a monitor, Mia napping in her carrier. Victor stood at the head, his voice smooth as he distributed folders. "It's with regret I present evidence of Nathan Brooks's misconduct," he said, his eyes glinting. "He's diverted millions to offshore accounts, aided by a contractor, Sophie Carter." Nathan leaned back, his expression calm. "Bold claims, Victor. Let's see your proof." Victor slid a folder across the table, his smile predatory. "The numbers speak for themselves." Sophie's earpiece crackled with Torres's voice. "Now, Sophie." She entered, flanked by 2 FBI agents, her heart pounding but her stride unwavering. The boardroom fell silent, Victor's face twisting with surprise before settling into a mask of disdain. "Miss Carter," he said, voice dripping with scorn. "Here to defend your boss." Sophie set her laptop down, her voice cutting through the tension. "I'm here to show how you've stolen $4 million from Horizon, Mr. Langston, and tried to pin it on Nathan." Gasps rippled through the room. Victor laughed, but it was strained. "That's absurd. You're a temp with a grudge." Sophie opened her presentation, projecting transactions onto the screen. "These accounts trace back to you," she said, pointing to a flowchart. "You funneled money through shell companies you control, starting the day you became CFO. An older board member, Miss Patel, leaned forward. Can you substantiate this? Every cent, Sophie said, clicking through records. The Cayman Trust, the fake invoices, the adjusted entries, it's all here. You thought you could hide it, Victor, but numbers don't lie. Victor's composure cracked, his voice rising. This is a setup. She's working with Brooks to smear me. Nathan stood, his voice like steel. You smeared yourself, Victor. Sophie found what you buried. Torres's voice buzzed in Sophie's ear. He's unraveling. Keep pushing. Sophie met Victor's glare, her voice unwavering. You sent me threats too, emails about my daughter. Did you think I'd stay quiet? The board erupted in murmurs. Victor slammed his hand on the table, his face flushed. You're lying. You've got nothing. Then explain this, Sophie said, playing a recording from her phone. A voicemail left on her burner line. Victor's voice, low and menacing, warning her to stop snooping or regret it. The room went still, the board's eyes locked on Victor. Miss Patel's voice was cold. Mr. Langston, do you deny this? Victor's eyes darted to the door, but Torres stepped in, badge raised. Don't move, she said, agents blocking his path. You're under arrest for embezzlement, money laundering, and witness intimidation. Victor lunged, not for the door, but towards Sophie, a penknife flashing in his hand. Nathan moved faster, shoving her behind him as an agent tackled Victor to the floor. Chaos erupted, shouts, chairs scraping, agents restraining Victor as he snarled, "You'll pay for this, Carter." Sophie clutched Mia's carrier, her breath ragged. Nathan turned to her, his face pale but steady. You okay? She nodded, voice shaky. Thanks to you. Hours later, in Nathan's office, the storm had settled. Victor and two complicit board members were in custody, their scheme exposed. Lila brought Mia, who giggled at a new stuffed bear. Sophie sat across from Nathan, her exhaustion mingling with relief. What now? She asked, watching Mia play. Nathan leaned forward, his voice earnest. The company's shaken, but we'll rebuild. I want you to stay, Sophie. Permanent role, head of internal audit. You've earned it. She blinked, surprised. That's big. Why me? You saw what no one else did, he said. Horizon needs your integrity, and Mia deserves stability. Sophie smiled, her eyes softening. I'll think about it, but no more secrets, Nathan. He nodded, a faint smile breaking through. Deal. And for what it's worth, I'm glad that text found me. 6 months later, Horizon's annual gala sparkled with lights and laughter. Sophie, now settled in her role, stood beside Nathan, her engagement ring catching the glow. Mia toddled between them, clutching a balloon. Ready to tell them, Nathan whispered, squeezing her hand. Sophie grinned. Let's do it. As they announced their engagement, the crowd cheered, and Sophie's heart swelled. A misdialed text had led her here, to justice, love, and a family forged in fire. She looked at Mia, whispering, We made it, kiddo. Outside, Chicago's skyline shimmered, a testament to second chances. The story of Sophie Carter and the Horizon Innovation scandal reveals profound lessons about resilience, truth, and the power of unexpected connections. A single mother's misdialed text sparked a chain of events that exposed a multi-million-dollar fraud, proving that even the smallest actions can ignite monumental change. Sophie's courage in facing threats to her daughter Mia underscores that integrity can triumph over corruption, no matter the odds. Her alliance with Nathan Brooks highlights how trust, forged through shared purpose, can bridge divides of status and circumstance. This tale teaches us to stand firm against injustice, to value community over greed, and to recognize that mistakes, like a wrong number, can lead to destiny. Sophie's journey from desperation to empowerment reminds us that every voice matters and persistence can reshape futures. It's a call to protect what's ours, to seek truth relentlessly, and to embrace second chances. Want more stories of grit and justice? Like, share, and subscribe to our channel to join the next thrilling saga. Let's amplify these tales of triumph together.